Hi, I'm Natalie McCarter, the Senior Associate Director of Graduate Recruitment in the Office of Graduate Studies for the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences at the George Washington University. We welcome you to our Master of Arts in Organizational Sciences information session. The George Washington University is located in the heart of Washington, D.C. And as the largest institution of higher education in the U.S. Capitol, GW welcomes 11,000 undergraduates and nearly 14,000 graduate students from more than 130 countries, creating a vibrant and global community. Our main campus is just 4 blocks from the White House and close to world-renowned government agencies, nonprofits, and private sector organizations, giving students unparalleled opportunities for internships, research, and career advancement. Within GW, the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, known as CCAS, is the largest academic unit, home to 5,000 undergraduates and more than 2,000 graduate students. We have more than 90 graduate programs and nearly 500 full-time faculty who are dedicated to collaboration, critical thinking, and applied learning. With an average of 20 million in annual research funding, CCAS students and faculty advance innovation and tackle real-world challenges. Now, I'm pleased to turn it over to Galai DeBubba to tell you more about the Organizational Sciences program.
Thank you very much, Natalie. And thank you, everyone, for attending this information session. I am looking forward to sharing with you what the Organizational Sciences Master's Program is, uh, who our students are, the journey through the program, and most importantly, I am very interested in your questions and would love to hear from you so that I can engage with you more directly and try to get some of those questions answered. If you would like to follow up with some of the questions that come up if we don't have time, I'm more than happy to meet with you in person as well, of course, via Zoom. So let's get started. I would like to begin by telling you a little bit about the philosophy and the conceptual foundations of the program. Um, Organizational sciences is a field that intends to equip leaders and managers with the knowledge and skills that can enable them to respond to the complex world that we live in as organizational actors. And this complex world is constituted by political, cultural, and technological changes that are both domestic and global. And although these words sound very um, conceptual and removed, they're actually experienced every day in the work world at any level of the organization. So as we engage with students uh, in a way that seeks to make these ideas apply to their work and to their experiences and to their lives, we end up having some very, very fertile and very interesting conversations. So in this from this lens, given that we're interested in situating organizations within a global and domestic environment as it relates to the forces that are constituting that environment, we adopt a systems perspective. And a systems perspective um, states that human behavior arises out of context. We seek to understand the context. We don't only view the behavior of individuals and organizations and the behavior of leaders and managers to navigate the dynamics of their groups as individual phenomenon. We understand that behavior is shaped by context. So, and this context is both domestic and international. And so all of our courses, in one way or another, take context into account. That's critical. And that's one of the things that makes our program very unique and very different from other similar programs that go right into the topics various topics related to organizations without really understanding or perhaps not really delving into the important and constitutive force of context. The second is that we have an interdisciplinary approach, which is essential when we are adopting a systems perspective by drawing on fields like psychology, anthropology, economics, political science, sociology, and other related social sciences. Our curriculum challenges students to explore the complexity of the organizational dynamics that they see in their workplace as we are applying these concepts from the various classes to our workplaces. We are concerned with, how can we look at it from a multidisciplinary systems-oriented perspective. So we move from very simplistic frames for understanding what's going on in organizations and how we should respond as leaders or managers to a more complex and nuanced frame that involves a lot of skill, diagnostic skill, as well as behavioral skill to manage. And our students tell us that they uh, go from the various class sessions into the workplace and find that what they have learned helps them uh, gain or helps them see things that they haven't seen before and develop a more nuanced interpretation of what's going on. Um, we also have a multi-sectoral application. This is also another unique part of our program. We're not just interested in people who are in business schools or people who are interested in the public sector and government or the nonprofit sector. We're really interested in speak to practitioners in every sector doing a wide variety of different kinds of work. We've had engineers, we have had HR people, we have had medical doctors, we've had people who are in the military, obviously in the civilian sector. We've had people at different stages of their career, some just starting out, increasingly people who are just starting out, but also people who have had 10, 15 years into their careers. And it makes for a very interesting, lively, engaged classroom environment where you can see how these concepts work across lots of different kinds of settings. And finally, our program is based on a scholar practitioner model, which basically it states that what we are learning needs to apply to our work in a very direct way. Although these concepts seem that we engage with, especially from a systems perspective, might feel very removed and maybe abstract, they are not at all abstract. And in every single one of our classes, we bring it, we apply this framework to various topics within organizations in order to make the concepts come to life and really help students be diagnosticians, managers, effective managers, and leaders within their organizations. So let me just talk a little bit about the domain. So how do we take the systems perspective and how do we apply it to our curriculum? So this figure shows the conceptual domains covered in our classes. And basically, the idea is that effective management, effective leadership within organizations uh, is um, requires having a very good understanding, a clear understanding of the environment that the organization is operating in, and that organizations need to adopt a very clear strategy to respond to the rapidly changing environment. This is the work of leaders primarily. And so the second conceptual domain is leadership and communication, because leaders not only have to be attentive to their environment, but they also have to be able to get other people behind the strategy to respond effectively to that environment. And here, when I'm talking about environment, we're both talking about the entire organization, looking to the societal environment, looking to the global environment, but also leaders within divisions looking at the trends that are transpiring around them, trying to figure out what this means for the work that they're supposed to be doing. So it goes through every single level of the organization. And then finally, performance and talent management. How do you not only get people behind the vision, to understand the strategy, but how do you uh, create an environment where people are continuously growing and are able to meet the challenges that that arise in order to fulfill the strategy, in order to achieve the mission, and actually to innovate. Okay. So in terms of the curriculum, so this framework is then applied to the curriculum. The field of organizational sciences is very, very diverse in terms of the kinds of topics that could be taken up to understand what makes organizations effective. But we have chosen just a few classes that we think are critical and that tap into these domains that I've just outlined. Now, one thing that is unique about our program is that we go deep into organizations. So we're not only doing a survey class looking at various topics in organizations, organizational management, organizational leadership. Um, we are delving in individual class sessions, but we devote an entire semester to some topic that we think is critical. So this is a deep dive that is actually very unique, and we haven't seen a lot of programs that provide this kind of curriculum. Okay, so here are our foundation classes: statistics and management, obviously critical to collecting information, to having a way of thinking about problems, to having a way of grasping and conceptualizing trends in the environment. So methodology is one of the things that we look at. And then we really want students to understand organizations as systems from a macro perspective. Um, Organizations as economic systems. What are the dynamics of managing organizations as an economy? Then we have a micro-oriented class, that's organizational behavior. So we've got the macro class, and we've got the micro class. And then we delve deep into specific critical topics in organizational leadership, organizational management, plan change, strategic management and policy formulation, organizational communication, conflict, leadership, and the psychology of individual and group decision making. And all of these tap into some of the aspects of the framework that I just presented to you. Then we have some electives. We have 3 electives that focus on that talent management piece. We have a very well-rounded curriculum, and we see our students over the years really moving across sectors and having that ease and comfort to do so because they feel equipped, that they have the conceptual knowledge to diagnose what's going on in organizations, and also the ongoing evolving skill set to manage it, irrespective of whether they're working government or the private sector or the nonprofit. And so we've seen a lot of interesting career paths. We really we really emphasize writing in the program. A lot of our classes require writing and really analytic thinking, application thinking, and integrity and ethics are obviously key foci of the program as we are engaging with the work of various scholars and doing the research for various classes. And the really wonderful thing is that GW has an excellent writing center. And so a lot of our students do take advantage of the resources that are offered there. We have a fantastic library, which the services are just mind-boggling for our students. Our classes are held in Ballston, not on the Foggy Bottom campus. And the library services for students, both on the Bottom campus as well as in the Ballston campus, are really fantastic. So as a student, you will really have a lot of support in that domain as well. All right. So just to introduce a few of the faculty and staff in our program, we have within a department, the Organizational Sciences program is within the Department of Organizational Sciences and Communication, which is composed of an IO Psychology doctoral program, a communications, a master's and undergraduate program, and obviously the Organizational Sciences master's and undergraduate program. And we draw on the faculty from all these areas, as you can see. Um, and I serve as the director for the OS Master's Program. So you'll be in touch with me a lot if you uh, pursue this, and as a student as well. And then Dr. Mary Lee is our academic advisor, and so students would be engaging with her quite a bit as well. So here are some key contacts, and I would love to take your questions at this point.
Thank you so much. And again, we can, oh, I see my lighting is a little, again, we can take your questions in the Q&A box. We do have one question, and that first question is, would it be recommended to get in touch with the program's coordinator or possible supervisor as part of the application process?
Yeah, so that absolutely, if you have any questions about the program substantively, or if you're in the application process and you have some questions about that, I would be happy to talk to you. So I would be your point person. And so please do reach out. I think my email, Natalie's my email in the chat box. Can we pop it in there?
Absolutely. I'm going to put that in the chat box, and I'll also put the email for the Graduate Studies Admissions Staff Office in there as well.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because some of the questions that I can't answer, that's where I would be sending you to anyway. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm throwing that in there now. And did we go over the tuition and the fees for the program? I know that
No,
was
we didn't. No, we
a
didn't. Yeah.
question that I got. I can put that tuition and fees link also in the chat. The next question we have is, when are classes typically held and how large are class sizes?
Oh, that's a great question. So we have classes on the Ballston campus. It is very, very convenient. There's a metro right there that takes you to Ballston. We have parking in the basement of the building, and it's very, very cheap. It's like 450 or something like that. And our classes are held there from 6 to 9. And you would have just one class. Probably the three classes offered during the semester. So, if you join the program, you'd be taking either two or three classes at Ballston in the evening. As I said, very, very convenient for transportation.
Thank you. And can you share a bit more about students that pursue a PhD afterwards? What are usually their focus and preparation provided by GW?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Thank you for that question. So we have I've been at GW for about 21 years and teaching in this program. We've had Air Force, Navy, civilians. We've had a lot of people go through our program. We haven't actually kept um, uh, count of the numbers, but this program is very unusual in inspiring students to go on to a PhD program. I think I would estimate that we have had between maybe 50 to 70 of our graduates that have gone on to PhD programs. Some of them came to our program with an intention to do so from the very beginning. Others got into the program and started to see various career options, and an academic path seemed very attractive to them. So yeah, we've had that, and our classes are very preparatory in the sense that they're very theory oriented, but they're also practice oriented. So a lot of the students have very practice motivated research. So it's an applied research. They go into business school. Some have gone into IO psychology. Some have gone into education. Some have gone into leadership or focused PhD programs. Lots of different directions.
Thank you. And talking about that student and the outcomes, I think this next question goes into that. What does a standout applicant look like before they get into the program? Like, what are you really looking for?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Um, so we have a holistic assessment of each application. So, of course, previous academic performance matters, but that's not the only piece of the application. Sometimes, um, what we see is that in a person's transcripts, um, we see that, their grades really picking up, especially in the undergraduate programs, grades picking up sort of in the starting the sophomore year, going into the senior year. And that's not an unusual trajectory to see. That's very quite common. And we're not expecting to see A's all the way through or A's and B's all the way through. We understand that um, going to college is a developmental experience. But when we see that trajectory of growth, it's indicative of a sense of clarity, a sense of motivation, a sense of directedness in the applicant. So that matters as it relates to academic performance. But also your work background, your reasons for wanting to come to the program, your letters of recommendation, anything that suggests a sense of purpose and direction and its suitability with our program. So have you thought about why you're applying to the program? What has led you to this program? Telling that story is really very important.
Thank you. And are there any specific funding opportunities for international students within the program? And if so, what are the requirements? I'll start with the answer to that. I am in the Office of Graduate Studies here at the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences within GW. And I'm going to put a link to our funding webpage into the chat. We do offer funding awards. There's no additional application necessary to receive a funding award. We do ask that you submit your application by the funding deadline to be considered, and that is February 1 for the fall 2026 application period. We do offer a Dean's Award, which usually covers 20 to 25% of tuition expenses. And we do have a few other awards listed on this webpage that may be based on the institution you attended in undergrad. We have a discount for students a tuition reduction, I should say, for students who are undergrad at GW. So we do have a few different things, graduate instructional assistantships as well, and other grants, and I will link to that page. But Professor, if you want to add anything else, feel free to do so.
No, thank you so much, Natalie. I couldn't add anything more to the comprehensive account that you just gave.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there was two questions about funding on there. So again, I will link that in the chat. What are some common mistakes applicants make, and how can potential applicants avoid them?
Well, I think I wouldn't say common mistakes because uh, maybe not surprisingly, I mean, the people who come to our program have put some thought into why they want to be here, have been able to tell a story about how they've gotten to an interest in this area. It could be, various experiences, or it could be a career trajectory that's beginning to take shape for them. We had, for instance, this is an example of that. As I said, we've had people in technical fields who have come to our program. And you would think that someone who's interested in organizational leadership and management might be more into change management or organizational development or talent management or something like that. But we've had, as I said, engineers, we've had, IT people. But one year we had a medical doctor who applied when and obviously was accepted to our program. And he decided to come because he was given the responsibility of managing a emergency room, and he is a technically proficient, but has no idea, did not feel that he was equipped to manage an emergency department. So, what is it that has brought you here? I think that's critical. What is it that you want to do? I mean, he's an outlier. We don't get medical doctors every day, but this is just to make the point that, what brought you here could even be a career shift that is that is an addition to what you are doing as a technocrat or as a technical